Hello, everybody. Welcome to this little shortened edition of Russo has more to say about TNA management. I got more to say about TNA management, but I want to say this first, Jeff. I've given myself a headache. I got a headache now. I interviewed Mickey James this morning. I just did Joel Gertner's show for like an hour and a half. I got a little bit of a headache, but I think like when I have a headache, like I'm more pissed off. So I think it's the best time to do shows like this.
Yeah, probably a good idea. I just realized I haven't eaten all day, so I might be kind of grumpy as well.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Jeff, because I started my diet today. So I had Slim Fast for breakfast, and I just had Slim Fast for lunch. And then at about maybe 5 o'clock or so, I'll have a salad, and that's it, bro. Listen, hey, Jeff, I've walked 25 straight days. I'm up to about 4 miles a day, but now I got to kick the diet in gear, bro.
That's a good start, man.
Yeah, so yesterday being my birthday, like that was a fresh start. But I knew I had to have birthday cake. So I'm like, all right, the day after my birthday, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you said that this wasn't you were going to stick to what you said before the new year started. So I believe your goal. What was your goal? I don't want to misquote you,
bro. I got to drop like 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, Jeff. This TNA thing, like, I'm consumed by it a little bit, and people have to understand why I'm consumed by it because I think they miss this part of it, Jeff. I worked there for 10 years. And I see the same routine over and over and over and over. It's like, bro, like you play when you play a cassette tape and it just keeps going. It never stops. What is that called, bro? What do you put it on?
Yeah, autoplay. I know what you're talking about.
But that's why, like, I'm so entertained by this. And I don't think people really understand that because they haven't lived in my shoes when I went through a lot of this. And it's ongoing in 2016. Now, Jeff, you first brought to my attention, it all kind of started with, I guess, the press release that TNA put out over the weekend pertaining to AJ Styles, and a couple of other guys from New Japan. So just refreshing my memory again about the circumstances that led up to that.
Oh, well, I don't have it with me, but it was along the lines of AJ Styles, a couple other guys from the Bullet Club went to Dixie's house, I believe it said.
Yeah.
And according to the press release, there was a handshake. Something was signed, indicating that these three were going to sign with TNA. They already got the merchandise rolling. That was one
of the creative. God can imagine what their creative was with those gangbusters over there.
Right. So then once it came out that AJ had signed with WWE, I guess that's when this came out, and I don't know what the point of it was. I think it was kind of like I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking by doing it. Maybe if they felt like he screwed them over, they were so mad that they're like, you know what, screw you, buddy. I'm going to tell everybody what you did. That's the only thing I can think of. But the thing is that the facts don't line up. Like if everything was true, if there was something that was signed, you would think there would be some type of lawsuit or breach of contract or something, or I don't know.
Well, first of all, Jeff, you got to stop yourself right there. If we really want to analyze this, you said that their reason of thinking was probably they were so pissed off that they're going to smear, AJ's name and make him look that bad. So you got to stop yourself right there. And the first thing you got to ask yourself is, can you imagine Vince McMahon doing that? Can you imagine Vince McMahon saying, well, we were supposed to, AJ Styles came to my house. We had milk and cookies together. We got signed documents, but doggone it, he decided to go to, first of all, can you even imagine him even doing something like that, bro?
No, they only, do that to their own employees and DVDs, I guess. So.
Yeah, well, but you'll never see Vince do that. You know, he'll do in marketing ways and stuff like that, but you know, he'll never come out and make a statement like that. And bro, like shortly after that, I think I know Bill Barons represents AJ, so I think Bill Barons released something that there was never anything signed. First of all, clearly there was never anything signed because, trust me, the WWE would have never put AJ Styles on TV last night. So there was clearly none signed. Secondly, if I'm wrong and there was something signed, then freaking sue AJ Styles and prove me wrong. But sue him, win the lawsuit. He can no longer work for them. Maybe he'll come work for you, and you're right and I'm wrong. But the fact that he appeared in a WWE ring tells me there's no way, shape, or form that a deal was signed. And, bro, I'm going to go one step further. I spoke to somebody who spoke to AJ yesterday. There was no agreement. There was no legal deal signed, no contract signed, nothing. It was a lot of an assumption on the part of TNA. And this is why this ring's so familiar to me, Jeff. Because, Jeff, I go back to like right before I left, like 4 years ago or whatever, we were going to start the Main Event Mafia. Okay, and at the time, me and Matt Conway is starting the TV. We were trying to get Kevin Nash and Booker back. So every day I'm saying, do we have them? Do we have them? Do we have them? They're coming in. Yeah, we have them. Write the TV like we have them. We have Booker. We have Kevin Nash. Write the TV that way. And then, bro, oh, surprise, surprise. Both guys appeared in the Royal Rumble the same year. So you understand, like, I've gone through this. I know how that works. But here's the thing, bro. Like, okay, first of all, when you're in business and you've been in business for 12 years, there's no excuse for dropping the ball like this. It's incompetence, bro. There's absolutely no excuse. But to make matters worse, bro, here's the part that pisses me off. When does TNA stop blaming everybody else for every time they take a big fat crap in the bed? When do they stop blaming everybody else and say, you know what, we effed up, man. We really effed up. We need to get better. When does that start happening, bro? Instead of passing the buck for every single thing that happens. And I'm going to go back, Jeff, to they lost the Spike TV deal because of Vince Russo, a consultant. Okay, not because John Gaborik sent home Eric Bischoff, who was the executive producer of the show and who Spike loved. That had nothing to do with it. Oh, they found out Russo was consulting on the show. So like, you know, we start there, bro. Then I think a lot of people seem to forget the Hernandez. Remember the Hernandez story, Jeff?
Yeah, where they threw all the blame on MVP, I believe, because he told them he was available or something like, you know, their whole legal basis on signing contracts is, hey, what'd that guy say? Okay, cool, we got him.
Yeah, so in other words, bro, they shoot all this footage with Hernandez. They're ready to put it on TV, only to find out he's still under contract with Lucha. But that was MVP's fault. So just like I was no longer working for the company, now MVP's no longer working for the company, right? Then we have, bro, the Destination America deal. The ratings that they never got, that had nothing to do with them. That's all on that. They didn't give us what they promised us. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They didn't do other. So that was their fault. Now the AJ thing. They dropped the ball on AJ, not for the first time, for the second time. But, oh, no, this isn't awful. Listen, AJ signed. Bro, if AJ signed a piece of paper, file a lawsuit, win the lawsuit, and prove everybody wrong. Bro, I don't know how this John Gaborik has a job. I really don't. And, Jeff, let me tell you something. I don't know if I ever told you this story or not, but this is why bro, I have personal issues with John Gaborik. I have no problem saying that. I really do. And I'll give you for a couple of reasons, bro. First of all, they in order for me to get a job as a consultant and I needed the money, I needed to lie. Okay? To get the job, nobody can know this. If anybody asks you about this, you lie about this. So then, bro, once I got caught in their lie, Gabora could not wait to get rid of me. Okay? So here's where the personal part comes in, bro. I'm telling you right now. I have no problem saying it's personal. He couldn't wait to call me and tell me I was no longer a consultant for TNA. Okay? And, bro, while he's like telling me this, he's enjoying it. He's laughing. He's having fun. In other words, you just told the guy who's trying to support his family on the lousy $2,000 a month you were giving him. You're just telling him, Vince, no more income for you. But that's not enough, bro. I'm going to laugh at you in the meantime. Now, here's the thing, Jeff. I don't know if I ever talked about this publicly, okay? Then the internet started running with, oh, Spike canceled their relationship because they found out Vince Russo was consulting. Okay? 3 months. I don't want to say 3 months, bro. I don't know exactly how long, but months prior, John Gaboric told me, I had a conversation with Scott Fisherman at TV. I told him that you were consulting for us and you were working with us. He was good with that, had no problem with it. Okay? So therefore, bro, the whole story about Russo being the cause of the of Spike dropping the deal was all bullshit because he had already told Scott Fishman. So now, bro, when Gaboric, lets me go and he's giddy about it and he's happy, that I don't have money to support my family anymore while he lives in his gated community in Nashville, I said to him, can you do one thing for me? Can you just publicly state that you had a conversation with Scott Fishman and you told Scott Fishman months ago I was consulting for TNA to get me off the hook so I don't have to listen to any of these idiots? Can you do that much for me? Did he do it, bro? No. You know why? He wanted all the blame on the Spike deal to go to Vince Russo when at the end of the day, bro, he was the one to blame. And that's why nobody ever reported the story and put the pieces together that, well, maybe because he let Bischoff go and Spike loved Bischoff, that's why they no longer stayed in business with TNA, because Eric was the executive producer and they wanted to deal with Eric. Okay, so to cover his own ass, he never went public with my story that he had the conversation with Fishman. That's why it's personal with me, bro. Because, bro, they've lost 2 networks on his dime. They've lost AJ Styles twice on his dime. They almost put somebody on TV that was under contract with another company.
They did put him on TV on that live show. Remember, he did air it once.
Okay, all on his dime. But it's always the cover-up. No, it was Vince. No, it was MVP. No, it was Destination America. I mean, bro, listen, Jeff, I say this all the time. We all make freaking mistakes. We all make mistakes. But how you grow as a human being is, number one, you admit those mistakes. And number 2, you learn and grow from those mistakes. How many passes does this guy get before, like, the entire house just comes crumbling down?
And you got to even look further than that, too, because the people that employ him, Dixie Carter in this case, this is her company, okay? Why every year they're in a worse situation, dramatically worse, you know what I mean, from the year before? There's no promised land. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. Why does she not make a change? I mean, to me, that's mind-blowing that, the company is just continually to go down, 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 and there's no steps to be made to first stop the bleeding and then start building it back up. I don't see any of that. I don't know about you.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do, Jeff, with, to this day, she does not have the confidence in herself to run her own business. Jeff, you got to understand something. She's got 12 years in now, bro. She's got more. It's more than 12 years. I don't know how long it is. Bro, if you haven't learned the ins and the outs at that point where you don't need a Gaborik to run all of creative and to run all of talent relations, and you have the confidence that you could do this yourself, or bro, you can get a lawyer to handle the contracts. Bro, I don't know why, if you've got writers there, I don't know why there needs to be a head of creative. The writers could do the job, but a dozen years in, she still doesn't have the confidence that she could run her own business. So what happens, bro, is guys like Gaborik, she's gun shy to run her own business. Guys like Gaborik come in and work her and sell her and convince her that they need them. She buys it hook, line, and sinker. And then we lose Spike, we lose Destination America, we lose AJ twice, we put Hernandez on. It's just on and on and on and on and on. And I just, to me, bro, there's absolutely no reason for it. Listen, man, I've failed in businesses in the past, Jeff. I owned 2 video stores. I owned a CD warehouse. I owned a Philly pretzel factory. I failed in my own businesses. But, bro, I know why I failed. I know what my shortcomings were. I learned from those failures. When you have a pattern, bro, that it's, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I don't know how you ever get out of your own way.
Yeah, and the thing, like, going back to the press release, I don't know. I'm sure you have a theory who that came from. I have no idea. But how does that make TNA look good? It says, listen, this guy didn't want to work for us. He'd rather go work for WWE. So that doesn't make TNA look good. B, it makes him look petty and childish. You know what I mean? Trying to blast this guy in a press release. And 3, what you were talking about, if there was something signed and they don't sue him, makes no sense. So it's going to make them look like a liar if they don't sue him for breach of whatever they say he signed. So I don't understand how this is supposed to make TNA be a positive for TNA.
It's supposed to make them look like the victim, bro. They're supposed to look like the victim, and everybody's supposed to feel sorry for them, bro. Meanwhile, Jeff, we're going through the free agents in baseball right now. Okay, bro, Scott Boras is one of the sharpest agents. He is the sharpest agent in the country. Okay. Yoenis Cespedes joined the Mets halfway through the season last year, tore it up, led the Mets to the World Series. Okay. All of a sudden, bro, in the offseason, the Nationals, the rivals now of the Mets in the NL East, there's rumor and hearsay that Cespedes is going to sign with the Nationals, the arch enemy of the Mets. Oh, what do the Mets do now? Now the Mets have to up the ante because they can't let the Nationals get. Bro, my point is Boras orchestrated all this. Okay, that's what agents do. That's business. If AJ's and his 2 buddies, use the TNA as a negotiating pawn, that's business, bro. We're not going to feel sorry for you because he went to the highest bidder. So setting yourself up like the victim, what you're making yourself look like is an idiot. You're making yourself look like we don't understand business. We didn't have a signed contract. We didn't have anything that would hold up, and we lost AJ for the second time. So rather than just ignore it and take the loss, and how do we learn from this and not let it happen again? They got to come up with this thing. Oh, we're the victim. We're the victim over here. He was supposed to come play with us, but he went to play. It makes them look pathetic. But, bro, here's the kicker then. We didn't even talk about this, bro. So they literally come out with this press release literally saying that AJ Styles, violated and broke a signed legal contract. Okay, that's basically what they said in the press release. 2 days later, he appears on WWE and they're wishing him luck. Like, are you bro, unless they're doing crack cocaine over there, like, explain that to me. After you just call the guy a liar, you reneged on a signed contract, you broke the law. Oh, good luck with your new company.
I wonder, like, do you think AJ may have a case here if what they said was untrue to, like, sue them?
Yeah, bro, but I mean, why? It's not worth his time.
Right.
I mean, it's not worth his time.
How much of this did I mean, I think the ball was dropped however many years ago when they gave him that offer that he thought was insulting. You know what I mean? And that was where the ball was dropped. So it's like the kid who you asked to play a game, he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. Then the game's over and he's like, well, I wanted to play. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like with this. They could have had AJ. They could have had AJ. They could have had AJ. They didn't want AJ. Now WWE wants him. All of a sudden they want him. You know what I mean? That's what this looks like.
Well, bro, it's not only that. You know, Jeff, let's look at it from any wrestler's point of view. Okay, bro, here's a company that has gone through 2 TV deals in the last year. And, now they're on Pop TV, drawing 350,000 people, whatever it is. Okay. Okay. Do I want to go here that's as shaky as can be, or do I want to go to the WWE, play in front of 3.5 million people every week that aren't going anywhere? And here's the comical part, bro. TNA can guarantee all the contracts they want. If TNA went belly up, those contracts are null and void. So, you can offer James Storm $500,000 and Bobby Roode $750,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can offer them whatever. The minute that company goes belly up, they don't owe anybody anything. So with all that being said, why wouldn't AJ or anybody want to sign with TNA unless the WWE wasn't interested in them? Bro, if they got to work, they got to work. But if the WWE is interested in you, are you even considering working for TNA?
Right. You wonder where TNA is headed. This AJ wasn't really on the radar until all of a sudden they wanted him, so because he was popular with WWE. So then they figured, well, we need to get him. But you look at Kurt Angle's about to be done. The Hardys' contracts are up at the end of February. I know Jeff has said in interviews he wants one more run in the WWE. My impression from Matt's interviews is he's happy where he is, but you never know. You know what I mean? If WWE gives them an offer they can't refuse, and they take off, like, I just don't see where their future is headed right now.
I don't see where their future is headed either, Jeff. And especially the fact of the matter is they could blow their trumpets all they want. And we said this a long time ago about getting a deal with Pop TV. We don't know what that deal is. We don't know if they're getting paid. We don't know if it's on a barter system where they're getting advertising dollars. We have no idea what that deal is. So I don't know, bro. That company blew it a long time ago, Jeff. They blew it a long time ago. That at one point they were talking to JR. And I got to tell you, bro, I know for a fact JR went up to the Carter Ranch. I know for a fact JR hit it off with the old man. And I don't know, bro, I don't know where that broke down. I don't know if JR wasn't interested. I don't know. I don't know if Dixie felt, well, if we have JR, like, I'm going to be a nobody. Yeah. I don't know exactly what went down, but in my opinion, that was the guy that could have helped and saved the company, bro. Because first of all, the Hogan Bischoff thing, she brought in Hogan for more money than she could afford. And of course, the two of them piggybacked Eric as being part of the deal. So the money alone that they spent on both of those guys, what that forced them to do, Jeff, was cut corners in other areas of the company where they really needed to put the money in. Because, bro, I've said this a million times. It doesn't matter if you have a Hulk Hogan if nobody knows. So how do we pay Hogan and Bischoff? Well, we can't promote anymore. We can't advertise anymore. We can't do this. We can't do that. That was the great effect that those two had on the company. They were getting paid so much money that TNA had to pull the money from other areas. But, again, bro, looking back, man, there was negotiation with JR. I felt he would have been the no-nonsense kind of guy. JR is the kind of guy that, listen, I don't know anything about creative. Name me the head of creative, whatever you want to do, you guys do creative. That's how JR is. John Gaborik's not that guy. Yeah, I found out quickly, like within the first month, John Gaborik knew more about creative than Vince Russo ever would. I found that out immediately when I was pitching him ideas, bro, and not even getting calls back. And I just said, okay, bro, you know creative a hell of a lot better than I do. JR's not one of those guys. So he would have let creative do creative and concentrated on where he needed to be. Once that JR option was no longer there, bro, I don't know what you do. Like even now, bro, listen, if you get rid of Gaborik, like who do you go to? Like I don't even know. Like I don't even know in this day and age who could run a wrestling company. Jerry Jarrett? Like I don't even know where you go.
That was what I was going to ask your thoughts on. If Dixie needs to do something to change the direction of this company, what does she need to do? Obviously, she doesn't want her company to go out of business. She wants to be successful, and according to you, people are giving her bad advice, and she's taking that advice. So, what do you think she needs to do right now to have any chance of saving TNA?
Bro, again, I've always said this, even with me when I was at TNA, there's no accountability. Jeff, I knew darn well when I was at the WWE, if the ratings did not go up, I was going to be replaced. It's that simple. Nope, nobody needed to tell me that. That was part of my job. My job was to deliver ratings. If the numbers don't come up, I am going to be replaced. Okay, well, the TNA ratings have been on a decline from the 2 million people for the last 5 years. That was 2010, bro. For the last 5 years, the ratings have been on a decline. Same writers there. We've seen all the mistakes since Gaborik came aboard. Gaborik is still there. So in other words, bro, if nobody is held accountable, it doesn't matter what can happen. Now, if you're going to hold people accountable, bro, well, first thing you got to do is stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Stop the bleeding. Get rid of them. If I got to hire, if I have to have my attorney take care of the contracts and the legalities of the contract, that's what I'll do. If I need as a holding pattern, Tommy Dreamer to be in charge of talent relations, he's been in the business a long time, he's one of the boys, then I'll put Tommy Dreamer there until I can figure out something else. But you at some point you have to stop the bleeding. You got to hold people accountable. You didn't do your job. How can anybody expect to be paid if they didn't do their job? That's any business, bro, across the map. I don't care if you're a nice guy. I don't care. Business is business, bro. So the first thing you got to do is stop the bleeding. If you're not going to stop the bleeding, what's going to happen? It's going to keep bleeding.
Yeah, it's just it's sad. You mentioned on another podcast about all the talent there. That's why you want the company to succeed. Obviously, these people need to earn paychecks. They're good people. Do you think, obviously Kurt Angle has different career goals from this point on, but I think of somebody like Kurt Angle who seems, you would know personally, seems like a trustworthy guy, seems like an honest guy. Is there a hidden gem out there that hasn't been an executive in wrestling that you would think would be trustworthy? I know you just mentioned Tommy Dreamer, but somebody to go that would be straightforward with Dixie and not just collect a paycheck for as long as they can. You know what I mean?
That's a good question, Jeff, because I got to tell you, bro, off the top of my head, I could not name one. I could not name one. Bro, listen, you had Jeff Jarrett there, and Jeff always has and always will have his own agenda. So that's the problem, bro. if it's one of the boys, there's going to be the wrestler mentality. You're going to be worked. That's the problem with it being one of the boys. So then you got to go beyond one of the boys and like, okay, like who worked in areas like this before? Well, bro, like I said, you got a Jerry Jarrett and you got a J.J. Dillon and you got a Jim Ross. Well, Ross ain't going to do it. He had the opportunity to do it, and whether he passed or they passed, that's not going to happen. JJ and Jerry Jarrett, I mean, she's had experience with Jerry Jarrett. That ain't going to happen. JJ is a little up there in age. I doubt he wants to get back into it. So, like, I don't know, bro. That's a very, very, very hard spot to fill. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the question is, do you not attempt to? Do you just let the person who's in that spot continue to make mistakes that are hurting your company and making your company look bad over and over and over again? I mean, that's really what it comes down to, bro.
I don't know, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no, and another thing, bro, too, like somebody just tweeted me, oh, everything you say is negative about TNA. First of all, I don't even watch the show. So, like, how could I even talk negatively about a show that I don't watch? And as a matter of fact, Jeff watched the show last week and put over the main event. And Sean from WrestleLink also put over the main event yesterday. So I don't understand. First of all, how I talk negatively about TNA when I don't even watch the show. I don't care to watch the show. Like, secondly, the same rocket science who told me that, give me a positive spin to put on this story. Give me a positive spin from losing AJ to a second time to putting up a pathetic press release to try to look like the victim to congratulating AJ after you just told him you screwed us. So one person out there write to me and explain to me how I put a positive spin on that story, and I'll come on here and I'll put what one positive thing could be taken out of that entire mess. What?
So I said I have problem trying to decipher where their intent was to make them look good.
Yeah, I don't get it, bro. But like I said, man, the biggest problem that they've had from day one are just repeated mistakes. Bro, they lost 2 networks. They lost AJ twice. It's just repeated. And boy, man, I just don't get that. I'm just the kind of guy, bro, like if I'm burned, like, I don't forget it and I keep it in the back of my mind. I don't let it happen again. And I mean, I guess I'm just a different breed, bro. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. Hey, listen, bro, the fact of the matter is they've built up the ratings over 2 weeks. I don't know. Maybe they continue to do that. Like, I don't know. But man, at some point, like, you've got to go to the next level and start making money, or else you're just spinning your wheels, bro.
Interesting. Obviously, TNA, nobody wants them to fail. I just hope they do the right thing. I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? But something needs to be done, just like you said. I have theories just like everybody else. Starts at the top. You need to, like you said, hold the people below you accountable. If Dixie does that, people, know if I don't do a good job, I'm going to be out of here. Will things change? Yeah, I would say so. Utilize somebody like Billy Corgan. Why is he there if you're not going to, let him use his creativity? I don't know for a fact that he's not. That's just my opinion based on the ideas he presented when he was hired and what we've seen on TV. I don't see a correlation there. So I don't feel like he's doing, what he's capable of doing, getting the opportunity to do it. Obviously, the creative needs to change to bring in new viewers. There's so much that needs to be done. And if Dixie wants to make this company a good wrestling company again, how much longer can this pattern continue before we're at the point of no return? I thought losing Destination America was the point of no return, and I was wrong. They got another TV deal, but man, would that happen again? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but Jeff, you got to look at, bro, listen, you got to look at the pattern. They had Spike TV. Destination, yes, they got another TV deal in Destination America, paying them a hell of a lot less money. They went from Destination America to Pop TV, paying them a hell of a lot less money. So, bro, even though they keep, getting a network at the 10th hour, what they're generating from that contract is getting less and less and less and less. That's why I said, bro, if I'm them, I have no problem throwing around guaranteed contracts, because if the time comes when all of a sudden we don't turn the corner and we can't pay these contracts, we're done. It's that simple. So I can offer it, and I can hope, these guys coming aboard, we turn it around. But if we don't and I can't pay anybody, game over. So, yeah, bro, they have stayed on TV, and that is the most important thing. But let's be realistic. With every channel they go to, they're taking more and more of a hit, and that's hurting the bottom line, bro. You know what I mean? So, sooner or later, that's going to catch up with you. But that's it. I just wanted to, explain a few more things that I really didn't get to say yesterday. And hey, man, I don't care. Friend, foe, bro. When you're in business, people need to be held accountable, man. It's that simple. And if you don't hold anybody accountable, these are the things that happen. So that's it.
What's next on the slate for this week?
Well, I took your advice. I put a special edition of the Swerve up today with Chris DeJoseph, so he could talk all about lucha. And I'm going to play the second part of that Thursday, even though it's going to be a day after. Even like a flip-flop, though. That's what you suggested, right?
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned you also wanted to.
I might do Chicken Necks on Thursday, and then slot that on Wednesday. So the Joseph's whole interview airs before.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, before premieres on Wednesday, the 27th. But it's up there. The part one of the interview, bro. He's the most creative writer out there today. I told him he's got the best job in the wrestling business. I hope he knows how good he's got it. And he's a bright kid. And bro, from all the talent I talked to, like, everybody loves the guy. He accepts all their input. Again, I hope more and more people start watching that product.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. But that's it, everybody, for this special edition for the brand. This has been Vince. This has been Jeff. We will see you tomorrow with Raw, what it was good for. We'll see you then.